the criminal justice system, the people,
Pimps, addicts, thieves, bums, winos, girls who can't keep an address, and men who don't care.
are represented by two separate yet equally important groups.
A cop, a flatfoot, a bull, a dick, John Law. You're the fuzz, the heat, you're poison, you're trouble, you're bad news.
These are their stories.
First of all, I will tell you that suspects were arrested in this huge Nike store robbery. This is in Southern California, in East Los Angeles. This is the latest in a string of brazen flash mob crimes. You know all about them. Bunch of people go into a store, they smash whatever display case might be out, and they grab everything from jewelry to electronics to handbags. Well, thieves were captured on video making off with thousands of dollars worth of merchandise from the Nike store. They fled in a red SUV. And the LA County Sheriff's Department stopped an SUV Wednesday, pulled the vehicle over, and they found large bags.
Look at them, just walking out.
Yeah, containing Nike sneakers. 6 people arrested there. Their identities not released. The Nike heist, again, part of all of these daylight burglaries that have occurred across California, not just LA, San Francisco as well.
Crazy.
So these suspects were arrested. And I saw that Dick's Sporting Goods is actually blaming this increasing theft issue for problems with their bottom line.
Yeah.
They see this situation where flash mobs come in, or however the ripoffs are going down, as increasingly having an impact on their business.
I was at a Lululemon last night. Really expensive women's, well, and men's athletic leisure wear, right? Like we're talking $120 for a pair of leggings. Stupid, outrageous to pay so much money. But yet, there I found myself. And it's very interesting.
No, you were there just to, were you going to buy something? Were you going to buy some overpriced leggings, or what were you there for?
My daughter was looking for a backpack.
And
they had a reasonably priced backpack at Lululemon.
Huh?
And Lululemon is like the in brand for kids. They all want these expensive things, most of which we can't afford to buy. However, because of the price of these things, like $127 for a sweatshirt, $119 for a pair of leggings, it has earned the eye of these people that come and scoop in whole racks of stuff and walk right out. Well, this store at Montgomery Village in Santa Rosa has a security guard. And when we walked in, he looked at us and he opened the door for us and gave us a smile and said, welcome. He did the same thing when we left, right? Watched us as we paid, etc. Ooh, that's a cool Mark mug. That's a new one. It's a red one. Look at that.
This is part of a project I'm working on that I'll tell you about. But thank you very much.
But I wanted to mention it because I've never seen a private security guard standing there at the Lululemon
like
at Montgomery Village.
What's that? Fred, what is the, Tony, what's the place in Beverly Hills? Winston Jewelers, or there's
Harry
Cartier.
Winston?
I can't hear you anyway. You're muted.
Harry Winston.
Harry Winston, thank you. That's
Kim, how are you?
Yeah, that's it.
Or Cartier or Tiffany or whatever.
Thank you.
Yeah,
they have guys there, but just to be clear, and there are others that we don't know the names of, where they won't let you into the jewelry store or the watch/jewelry store until they kind of scope you out, right?
I mean, I'm sure if it had been, and because these rings, these retail theft rings, they use often kids, like groups of kids that are, 14, 15, 16, and they send them in, and that you saw that in the video, the people looked pretty young. And then, there's adults running the show, but they use these kids because if they get caught, their charges won't be as serious, I guess. I don't know. But I think that if we had been a different looking group, that security guard would have flopped that door shut, locked it, and barred the door. I mean, And think of the extra expense the store has to take to have that large man standing there who has to have some skills, so has to be paid a little more than, a minimum wage worker.
Yeah,
overseeing who comes in, who comes out.
In a way, that's the last thing you can do, because you can't shoot anybody, rough anybody up. You just can't. So you're right. There is a a quality of intimidation. You get a big guy to stand out there. But even if they're armed, I mean, there was that controversy in the city about, shooting the dude who was leaving the Walgreens, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Remember? And he
Yeah,
turned
San Francisco.
and the security guard shot him and killed him.
Right.
And people, honestly, in the community were sort of like, tough S, buddy. You're a ripoff artist and you pulled this stuff. They rolled around, but prior to that, it was not like you just ran out. So I don't know. My point is, you get into this problematic situation with handling these things, and so you end up not knowing what to do, and maybe the answer is what that Lululemon was doing, which is you have to be careful about who you let in.
Well, it makes me feel better for the workers in the store, and it made me feel safer as a shopper being in there without anything bad happening. This guy meant business. And so I was like, okay, this is good.
So I wasn't going to mention this, but I do have a real life story from just yesterday with one of these flash mobs, and it went down right next to the store I was in the mall. I was there at the time.
What?
Yeah. So yesterday, first of all, as you might imagine, I'm not a big one for, cruising around, shopping, trying stuff on. It's just not my thing. I'm just, and
what?
So
you're not?
Yeah,
No.
I went and I had to get pants. Okay. Now I'm really a good person for a salesperson to meet, because I'm usually I'm in a buying place if I'm out there.
Put up your pants, my man. Pull up those pants.
Yeah. So I needed a new pair of pants, and so I go to Banana Republic because I'm a boring older white dude. But to be fair, that's sort of like, it's like a J. Crew-ish kind of thing, right? So I go there, and I'm trying on pants, which I hate doing. You have to go to the thing, and you got to take. It's just you get it. And I actually bought a bunch of pants, and I bought a jacket. It's very, very, I feel very special. But while I'm doing all this, so it takes about 40 minutes. I'm there. The manager comes scurrying up and says, "Oh my God, a flash mob just stole a bunch of stuff next door at the Louis Vuitton store."
Oh, yeah.
And so when she said next door, it wasn't literally the next, it was like a few stores down, maybe 3 stores down. So I don't do anything. We just finish up. And I walk there. So now we'll say 20 minutes has passed. And I look into the Louis Vuitton store, and there's no sign that anything happened. There's one dude who I see. He's dressed in dark police type stuff.
Right.
And he looks up just as I'm looking in. He looks right at me. And I kind of nod to him, and he nods back, and then he goes back to writing whatever on his pad. He was clearly a police officer who responded. Yeah. But it's so bizarre that they were more concerned, it seems, in not interrupting the flow of retail consumers. Yeah, they didn't close the store. Oh my God, put up yellow tape. No.
Because it happens every week. Every Friday, come on in, steal stuff.
So to that point, Dick's Sporting Goods warned that retail theft is damaging their business, would lead to lower annual profits. The sporting goods and athletic clothing seller reported second quarter results that included a 23% drop in profit. That's huge. This is despite sales that rose 3.6% in the same period. The company blamed this shrink thing, right? Shrinkage. That's the term for theft and damaged inventory. They also warned investors about this growing problem. Dick's is among the first to blame lackluster quarterly financial reports primarily on theft. The CEO, Lauren Hobart, said retail shrink is leaving us short of our expectations. They now expect and there's a bunch of stuff about their profits, but increased shoplifting incidents are a thing. And it's more than just a one-off of a bunch of kids from high school who do it, and it's more than just a homegrown crime ring. It is organized crime often, as Kim says, fronted by young people. It's groups that target stores that carry higher value items, electronics, sporting goods, I mentioned, the watch and jewelry stuff, designer handbags, designer clothing. And then secondary markets are there for this stuff to be moved, right, to be sold. Shopping malls and high-end stores in large cities, including LA, Chicago, New York, and San Francisco, has suffered a spate of dangerous smash-and-grab attacks. Perpetrators have used sledgehammers and other equipment to break into stores and make off with several $1,000s in merchandise at a time. So there you have a little bit of how it's impacting the bottom line. And cities are trying to fight back. There are task forces in place in conjunction with the FBI. They're trying to target these incidents where groups have 30 to 40 people arrive in a caravan of cars. They jump out at the valet, and the getaway drivers are out there waiting. And they go in, as they did with that Nike store, and they just clear it out, or the Gucci store, or all these designer stores that I can't even pronounce the names of. So this is a real issue. And as I say, it just happened yesterday in at this mall I was shopping in. And I did say this to them, Kim. I said, well, one thing is good for you guys. Nobody's coming into Banana Republic and smashing and grab anything.
That's not true. I would say Banana Republic is another one of those things where they come and scoop, because those clothes aren't cheap either, right?
They're not cheap, but yeah, I suppose you're right. I'll tell you what, they're easily scoopable. Although I tried on a jacket that had a metal cord through it, like a security cord. And she said, well, if you want, I can take the cord out. I said, why would I want that? I like it just the way it is.
The Mark Thompson Show.
No, wait a minute. I didn't get to my, let me just get you the last heist, which I promised yesterday. This is at the British Museum. Let me finish up Law and Disorder with just two other items. The British Museum has now fired a worker suspected of looting gold and gems from a storeroom.
If you're going to loot something, I mean, if you're going to be into a smash and grab, I think
go for it.
There's never been anything like this.
Yeah.
Forget the Banana Republic pants. Go for the gold and gems.
The British Museum has fired a staff member on suspicion of looting jewels from a storeroom and started a review of its security practices. The worker, not yet named, stole or damaged items including gold jewelry and gems of semi-precious stones and glass dating from the 15th century BC to the 19th century AD. London's police force said in a statement that it was conducting an investigation, but it's the way they said it. They do the investigations in a British accent or so.
We have processes and protocols and standards.
Exactly. Because of the police investigation, the museum will not comment on the value of the missing items or give any more details about them. But the museum said the majority of the items were small pieces kept in a storeroom. None had recently been on public display, adding that they were kept primarily for academic research purposes. Oh, yeah. So, this is for those who are serious about the Emil Schauphausen. Yeah, his research goes on. But the thefts are far from the first at the London institution, the British Museum. In 2017, the museum announced that 6 years earlier, it lost a diamond Cartier ring worth almost $1 million. Did you know that, Kim?
No.
This had just happened in 2017. In 2004, 15 pieces of Chinese jewelry were stolen in opening hours.
Wow.
So the British Museum, they've got to relook at their processes, protocols, and standards.
I guess so.
They're not quite, there seem to be some holes in the process or the protocols. And finally, this note out of a Georgia court for law and disorder. A federal judge in Georgia has temporarily blocked part of a state law that prohibits hormone replacement therapy for transgender minors. It's a preliminary injunction, And this is more than a month after that original ban took effect, but they appealed the ban, and now this federal judge in Georgia has blocked part of the ban, okay, if you want to think of it that way. And so gender transition surgery and hormone therapy for the treatment of gender dysphoria in people under the age of 18 has been a controversy nationwide and in Georgia. And the plaintiff said the ban violated the rights of parents to make medical decisions regarding their children. They also said it violated the guarantees of equal protection by denying transgender youth essential and often life-saving medical treatment based on their sex and on their transgender status. So that continues, but that injunction was just put in place now. They blocked that Georgia ban that federal court did. Federal judge in Georgia has blocked the ban on hormones for minors. And so with that, we conclude Law and Disorder.
Tune in again next time for more Law and Disorder on The Mark Thompson Show.
All right, that's it. Let's roll. Hey, let's be careful out there.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.